do this orderly.
Indeed. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, if you allow me, let me congratulate the nominee and to say that I sympathize with him. That he's caught up in this litigation. But indeed, it's his chief whip. It's his chief whip who is. Anyway, Mr. Chairman, I want to submit that the application and procedure invoked by the first deputy minority chief whip, is properly grounded, is properly construed, and is properly laid before you, the chairman of this committee. Let me establish two preliminary points. The first one is that the majority, Mr. Chairman, the first one is that the majority, the learned majority chief whip, who is a senior lawyer, whom I respect a lot, himself makes the point that at the commencement of the proceedings of a committee, one can raise the issue of quorum. In the same vein, he makes a strenuous effort to establish the fact that this committee is properly constituted and this committee has quorum. And he goes ahead to try and even name members of the committee to establish that there is quorum. Meanwhile, he has said that, Mr. Chairman, he has said that you can only raise the issue of quorum at the beginning or the commencement of the proceedings of the committee. That's the first point, the first preliminary point. The second preliminary point, Mr. Chairman. The second preliminary point. Don't wait. The second, Mr. Chairman, the country. Chief Whip. Mr. Chairman, the country is listening to us. The majority chief whip has made a very comprehensive legal submission. Members on this side, the minority, we are making our submission. I think we owe it to the nominee, we owe it to the country to get to the bottom of this matter in an orderly manner based on the rules of the House. Mr. Chairman, the second point I make is that what the deputy minority chief whip sought to do was to raise an application pursuant to Order 64 of the Standing Orders of Parliament to the chairman of the committee. And Mr. Chairman, when that application is laid, it is only and only when the application is laid before the chairman will the chairman go through the processes and the proceedings pursuant to Order 64 of the Standing Orders to make a determination whether or not this committee, this Appointments Committee of Parliament, is properly constituted and that it has quorum. Mr. Chairman, with your permission, I want to quote Order 64. And I quote. Order 64 says,
Mr. Chairman,
the quorum of Parliament, apart from the person presiding, is 1/3 of all the members of Parliament.
Mr. Chairman, order, please.
Where the person presiding is a deputy speaker or a member, part of the quorum.
Please.
3, a member may draw the attention of the person presiding at any time during a sitting that members. Mr. Chairman, can I be listening in silence? We are live on national television. I mean, can we please? Now, look. No, can we? And so, Mr. Chairman.
Honorable, please. Honorable.
Honorable member.
He's not a member. No, he is not. Can you put that thing off? Please. Yeah. Okay. All right. Honorable member, I believe you are done.
Mr. Chairman, no, just a few more minutes. Yeah. 1 or 2 more points.
Relax.
And so, Mr. Chairman, what is the point I seek to make? Mr. Chairman, the submission I make is that pursuant to Order 64 of our rules, when a member makes an application to the chairman, and indeed, the majority chief whip himself, and I will always refer to him as a learned majority chief whip, has submitted that the rules of the parliament as a plenary, the parliament as a whole, is applicable to the proceedings of a committee of parliament. And therefore, Order 64 is applicable to this appointments committee. And so what is my conclusion and what is my contention? And of course, Article 102 and Article 101 buttresses this point. Mr. Chairman, and so I'm contending that when the Deputy First Minority Chief Whip made the application to you, the correct and proper procedure pursuant to Order 64, which is Order 64 applicable to the House of Parliament, and which the Majority Chief Whip himself has submitted, applies to the committee of the House, and therefore the committee, the appointments committee. Mr. Chairman, I conclude by saying that you then would have gone through the processes of establishing whether or not this committee is properly constituted and has quorum to conduct business. But as we speak, Mr. Chairman, as we speak, the NDC members of this committee have now all run into the committee. They run here. They rush here. So, Mr. Chairman, on that basis, let me conclude by saying that the first Deputy Minority Chief Whip has withdrawn his application. It was properly grounded, and therefore let us proceed.
Thank you very much. Please, let's continue the meeting. Well, we have the commencement quorum, so we'll continue the meeting, and then you are overruled, actually. Can we continue? Yeah, you on the floor. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Before you go on, just to bring to your attention, I was given this piece of paper before we started, and Honorable Abu Jinapo is a subject matter person on this table. So you help us form a quorum.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I was on my second question to the nominee, and that's my second. I hope, okay, so my question was that cyber security has been a national concern, and I was indicating that the country has experienced some couple of cyber attacks. And then when you consider the cost of establishing cyber security in institutions, it is on a very high side. When you look at the NDC manifesto, you talked about enhancing support to cybersecurity establishment and initiatives. I want to know first from the nominee, what is he going to do as a minister to fund cybersecurity initiatives to ensure that the country's systems and networks are adequately protected? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, the cybersecurity of our country is a critical one that sits and straddles the Ministry of Communications, Digital Technologies and Innovation, and our national security apparatus. In fact, when you read the National Security Strategy document that was prepared in 2020, I believe that paragraph 3.4 on page 41 speaks about our cybersecurity preparedness as a nation. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chairman, in 2020, we passed Act 1038, which is the Cybersecurity Act. As a member of the committee at the time, I played a key role in the formulation of that legislation. And when you speak about funding cybersecurity, I'm sure that the outgone minister will bear witness, and the members of the committee, that when the bill came to Parliament from Cabinet, it did not have anything about funding cybersecurity. It was my personal intervention and amendments to the bill that introduced Section 23 of the bill, which is the funds of the bill. I would say that it is just sheer providence that 4 years after the bill came into law, the outgone government was unable to operationalize the fund. And I, who brought it into the bill, today sits here as a nominee of the president to superintend this bill. I give you the assurance that the brain and thinking behind me introducing funding for the bill, and if you read it, I identify a number of sources to fund cybersecurity. One of them is grants from the government. Another is allocations from government or grants from individual donor agencies like the Mastercard Foundation and Rockefeller Foundation. Another one is actually the establishment of the Cyber Fund, which will be a dedicated fund for beneficiaries of cybersecurity. So I think I just share providence that when approved by this House, and I assume office as Minister for Communications, the thoughts that came through my mind in September 2020, when I introduced this as an amendment, will see the light of day under President John Dramani Mahama. I thank you.